Kajabi made a huge announcement a few days ago. Kajabi have evolved some incredible new features that I am very, very excited about and can't wait to dive into and share with you the details of all the new features. But there was some drama as they also updated their pricing for the first time in 10 years, so not totally unexpected. But I am going to create a series of videos for you talking about all of the Kajabi changes and diving deep into them. So if you are not already following me or subscribed to the channel, please do, because every day I'm going to be dropping a new video diving deep into everything that Kajabi have evolved so that you know what the system is capable of, what's available on your plan and what's not, whether it's worth upgrading, and whether these new features are something that is going to be able to help you make more money on Kajabi. It is a very, very exciting time, and I cannot wait to share all of this with you. But first, because of all the drama and a little bit of confusion around the plans and pricing, I thought I would do a video starting at that point. What the changes are, a very, very quick overview of that, what new features are available on which plans, how your pricing is going to be impacted so that you can make the best decision. Do you want to upgrade to the new plans? Do you need the new features? And how is this going to impact you? And if you are brand new to Kajabi and you're not yet using Kajabi, a lot of this probably won't have as much impact, but you will be able to get a little sneak peek of the new plans. And if you do want to try Kajabi, you can do so at any time by going to the unicornadvisory.com/Kajabi. And as I am a Kajabi partner, I will give you some incredible bonuses to help you get set up, and you'll be able to find the details of the Kajabi's current best offer. As of recording, that is a 30-day free trial. So if you're not using Kajabi, go and check that out. Sign up through me, a Kajabi affiliate. I'll get paid a commission. You get some amazing setup bonuses and everybody wins. But let's dive into the changes and have a look at what was announced with Kajabi Evolved, because it was a lot. There was a lot there and lots and lots of changes. So firstly, one thing to note is that a lot of people that I've spoken to are kind of panicked, thinking they need to do something right now. Kajabi have just announced all of this stuff, and you're like, oh, but do I need to upgrade? Like, do I need this new plan? Current pricing? What's going on? First things first, don't stress. This is all optional. The things that were announced and the changes that are taking place, they're actually giving you 4 months notice, which is pretty fantastic. Since that Kajabi announcement, I've had 2 other softwares announce price rises and changes, and it's pretty much been, here's what's changing with like a 1-paragraph email, and it's going to happen in 30 days. So I do really, really appreciate Kajabi for giving lots of notice. It gives you lots of time to decide if you want to take the new plans, which are optional. However, if you are watching this and it is closer to the 13th of January, please note that regardless of whether you choose to move to a new plan or not, your price will change in January. So for many people, upgrading to the new plans is going to be the right decision, but just don't panic. You can do it later. Even if you are on an annual plan, you can still let your annual renewal go through as normal with your existing pricing and upgrade it later. You'll just pay a pro rata difference at the time of upgrade. So first things first, don't panic. It's okay. You got time to work it out, and no need to make any rash and immediate decisions. Also, just a little caveat, I am not a Kajabi team member, staff member, or working for Kajabi. I'm an independent Kajabi consultant and strategist, and I have done a lot of diving deep into all of the changes and spoken to a few people at the Kajabi team to make sure this accurate information is accurate. I'm pretty sure I've understood everything, like 99.5% sure. But as with everything, please do just double check with Kajabi to make sure that what I'm telling you is correct. And if Kajabi updates anything around the pricing, they have already made an update since first announcing it due to some pushback from customers. I will note that in the description and comments, so do read through that as well. So firstly, why Kajabi is changing things, especially prices. Well, they have not put their prices up since 2015, which in itself is pretty phenomenal considering that back in 2015 when they started, they had courses. And then they introduced email and funnels. I started on Kajabi in 2019 when you had a website, landing pages, courses, emails, and checkout. And that at the time was pretty amazing, having all of those things. And since then, over the last 10 years, they have continued to add more and more features to the platform. Now we have podcasts, coaching, newsletters, a whole lot of different options in terms of payments, pay as you go, gift offers. There's just been continual improvements to the Kajabi platform. And during all of that time, there has been zero price rise. However, as a lot of software companies have had to face, costs have gone up. There's been huge costs go up across the board, not just for software, but, in life. And Kajabi have now updated their plans to reflect that. But they have also introduced a heap of new features in addition to all the cool new things that have come out over the last few years. So with this price rise also comes a lot of new features. So, it helps make the whole price rise feel a little bit better, and plus gives us software that allows us to do even more, which is super, super exciting. So at a glance, the new features. Every single Kajabi user now has a community included for free. This does not go against your product limits. Previously, it did. And previously, with the community in Kajabi, it used to go against all of the access groups, like the individual parts of your community. Each access group was also a product. So if you're on the basic plan where you only had 3 products, the community was probably a lot less useful. Even if you're on the growth plan where you get 15, well, you got 15 products, say if you had 3 access groups, like a free group, a paid membership community, and then like a VIP tier for that community, that was 3 separate products that you were using up for that. So for a lot of people, they would just use one area of the community. However, community is front and center at Kajabi, which I'm really, really excited about for a number of reasons. But knowing that, and knowing that it is now free, that you can run as many groups as you like within your community, is fantastic. Think of access groups like if you were going to run a free and a paid Facebook group. Each of those would be that access group. So it's a different level of access to different parts of your community. Some people might have access to all of your community, and some people might get access to part of it. And now access groups are unlimited. So that's a pretty exciting change. You can use those access groups for things like running a free challenge, like doing short-term things. You could have an access group for like co-working and implementation. There's a lot. The sky's the limit. I'm going to go into that and share some ideas with you, but that is regardless of new plans. As of now, community is free for every Kajabi user. So super, super exciting. Also, with the app that Kajabi has, previously we had an app for communities and an app for the course area. So it was 2 separate apps. Sometimes it was a little bit confusing. They didn't really work together very well. Now, all Kajabi customers have one single app that has community and courses and other products in together. So your users only need to go to one Kajabi app. That is a fantastic new feature that is available. There is also, in addition to that, the branded app. So this one integrated app is the Kajabi app. So you will tell your students, members, customers to download the Kajabi app to access your content. There is also the option of a branded app that's been around for a while, that's still there. And one of the big changes with that is it is now available for free on the Pro plan. You can pay $199 a month if you're not on the Pro plan to have your own branded app. Again, I'll go into that more because there's been a lot of really fantastic changes and updates, and you can do a lot more with that paid branded app than you can with the stock standard Kajabi app. So that may be something that would make you go, okay, Pro plan's looking more and more doable if that's on your agenda. There have been fantastic updates to the new checkout. I spoke to Laura from the Kajabi Payments team a month or 2 ago for the Kajabi Fireside Chat, and she dropped the announcement that that was changing, and this has been wanted for a very long time. Up until a few days ago, the Kajabi checkouts were very limited in terms of their customization. Now that customization is wide open. You can do pretty much anything that you want with your checkout page. It is as customizable as a landing page. page. All of the blocks and every sort of building aspect that you can put onto a landing page can now be added to your checkout. So you can, have unlimited creativity and design your checkout just how you want it. There's also some other new updates to checkout, like having multiple pricing options within one offer. Very, very welcome. And bonus other checkout options that have been updated. So I am going to go through those in more detail in another video. Coaching has had a massive update. I'm thinking I may even need to do 2 videos about coaching because of the amount of upgrades and updates in terms of how you can customize your coaching sessions, ways that you can encourage people to buy additional sessions. It's a lot easier of a process, how you can present the coaching information to your clients and customers. We now have transcriptions, additional automations. Coaching has had a great revamp, and I am here for it as someone who uses Kajabi's coaching quite a lot. A very, very exciting new feature was the universal inbox and the comment to DM feature that Kajabi just announced. So being online creators, we want to get people into our world, into our ecosystem, and onto our email lists. And social media is the place where people may discover you, and getting people onto your email lists is where you can continue to connect with them. And a comment to DM and getting those people straight into Kajabi is a fantastic way to continue that relationship without them having to go and fill out a form on your website. You can say, hey, leave the word comment or whatever the word is, and it will instantly be able to add people to your list. So again, I'm going to be going through that and that universal inbox feature which goes along with it. That's a brand new feature available for Pro and growth plans. Affiliate Center has been updated. We spoke to Stanley from the payments team on one of the fireside chats. I've done a recent video on that. But there are some even more exciting updates to affiliate, including auto payouts and leaderboards coming soon. So I will deep dive into those affiliate updates and show you more about that as well. Cohort courses is now available, and that's going to enable you to have courses where you can run sessions of the same course over time, and you can control who gets access to that cohort or that season of the course and all of the live calls and live material that goes with that. And it means that instead of having to duplicate and recreate the course every time, you will be able to run that, that period of the course. All of the information will be kept together, but only the people in each specific cohort will be able to access all of those recorded live calls and the current live calls, which is often one of the limitations that people have when they are running the same course over and over again, is that you don't want the people who did it, last year to be accessing the current live support. As I mentioned, the branded app is now included on Pro, which is amazing. There is a brand new visual automations builder, which is going to let you do so much more with automations on Growth and Pro and more easily see how those automations work. Transcriptions are coming. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. This is one of the things where I've wanted this for ages because I use Zoom and Fathom because it enables me to get that transcription and a summary. And now we will have 30 hours a month of transcription and 4 hours a month of translation, and coming later we'll have dubbing as well. Now this is only available on the Pro accounts at the moment. I am hoping that there will be some sort of upload, like amount that we can do with Growth, especially in terms of transcriptions. And currently it's only for new videos that are uploaded, and Kajabi are looking at how to incorporate existing videos on the platform as well. And the new website, or the new builder, they're calling it, is now available in all accounts as well, which means that every part of Kajabi that you're in, you will build in the same way. So Kajabi have had a few sort of different layout options throughout the platform. That is now all streamlined so that it's a lot easier for you to understand how to use the different parts of Kajabi, whether you're in your course, your coaching area, checkouts, emails, website, it is all the same. So that is a little brief overview of the changes. Like I said, I'm going to deep dive into all of them and look at how you can use them, whether you need to use them, what these features are, and that's going to happen over the next month or so. So please do stay tuned for more of that. But The important info if you're a current Kajabi customer, what is changing with the plans? So prices are going up for existing customers on the 13th of January 2026. Now, if you are brand new to Kajabi, you will go straight onto this new pricing, but that also means you get the new features. And for most situations, you're going to want the new features because they are pretty fantastic. It is optional, however, to move to the new plans because some people in some situations, you may not want to move to the new plan. Mostly if you are currently using Stripe through Kajabi and you're not using Kajabi Payments and you don't want to move to Kajabi Payments. I'm going to go into detail more about that in a little bit, but that's the main situation where you may not want that. Or if you are on the basic plan and you have more than 2,500 contacts, because that's been one of the big changes as well. You may want to stay on your existing plan to keep your contacts. There's some options as well that I'll talk to you about. So if you're on an annual plan and your plan renews between now and the 13th of January, it will renew for a year at the current pricing. And if you choose to upgrade, it will upgrade at the new pricing. You can upgrade later between now and the 13th. But whatever happens, whether you decide to upgrade to a new plan or not, your price is still going to go up on the 13th of January. So this is a quick sort of overview of the pricing changes. Pro has the biggest jump, but it's also got an extra inclusion that was costing $200 a month. So for a lot of people, that's going to make a lot of sense. You can upgrade to the new plan right now. That is entirely optional. It will just change the price of your plan now. If you wait till January, your price will go up in January. But in January, it's a case of, well, my price has gone up anyway. It's probably going to be worth changing to the new plan before January to take advantage of the new limits and the new features. So what are those limits? So let's go through all the plans. So Kickstarter hasn't actually had a change in price unless you had joined Kickstarter quite a long time ago. They had an offer at one point where it's $69 without a community, but now it is $89. That does have one product that you can use and a community with unlimited access groups. So that is really, really nice. It's a great way to get started. You also get your website, you get unlimited emails, landing pages, unlimited funnels. That's another update that Kajabi have introduced, unlimited funnels across all plans. The main restriction that you'll have with Kickstarter is that you only get 250 contacts. So that might be all right to start, but for most businesses, you will be wanting to bring in more than 250 contacts. So it's good to get started, to get off the ground, to start building your email list, perhaps bring people into a community, especially as you can bring people into a paid or free community now. But just do bear in mind that you've got that contact limit, which is the thing that most people, that's the limit that you'll hit first, most likely, that will want to make you upgrade. Also bear in mind that you don't get a custom domain with Kajabi. So your domain will be like my website .mykajabi.com, not mywebsite.com. So those are the two main restrictions. And if you choose not to use Kajabi Payments and you're using Kajabi Stripe, so that's Stripe through Kajabi, you will pay a 5% additional transaction fee. So in that situation, if you're on Kickstarter, you would likely want to be using Kajabi Payments or look at one of the other plans. If you're taking payments outside of Kajabi, that extra fee does not apply. So it's noted as third-party providers, but third-party means Stripe via Kajabi. So Stripe have a native Kajabi integration. That is where that extra fee comes in. If you're using PayPal, if you're using Kajabi Payments, if you're using Thrivecart, Samcart, any of the other payment providers, that doesn't apply. So basic, this is something where there has been some changes. It was $149 a month. It is now $179 a month or $143 annually. Previously, you had 10,000 contacts on the basic plan. It is now 2,500 contacts. Again, 2,500 contacts is a reasonable number of contacts, and you may not be near that limit, so it may not impact you. You've got an option of either staying on that plan if you're close to that. I would certainly recommend doing some list cleaning if you do have a lot of contacts. Maybe a perfect opportunity to reduce some of those contacts, particularly if there are people who are not opening your emails, so that that is less likely to impact you. You can add an additional 5,000 contacts for $25 a month if this is something that is impacting you. This is now some a la carte options that you can add. So just do bear in mind that that is a potential option if you don't want to go up to growth. One of the benefits of the changes to basic is previously you only had 3 products, and that was including the community. Now you have unlimited products, sorry, not unlimited products, unlimited access groups in your free community and 5 products. So 5 products is going to allow you to sell a lot more. Plus you have that community on top of that. If one of those products was a digital download product, then that's unlimited digital downloads, and then 4 other products that you could use for a membership, for courses, coaching product, other things. So basic, whilst the contact limit is something that you may need to deal with. For a lot of people, like even getting to 2,500 contacts, that'd be a pretty, awesome point to get to. So you may be able to work within that, or just pay that extra $25 a month to increase your contacts if you've got enough products. You get one website, you do get a custom domain on there. There is that additional Stripe fee if you're not using Kajabi Payments. That is 2%. If you don't want to pay that, then you can use Kajabi Payment, and you won't have any additional fee with that. So now you get 5 products, 2,500 contacts. You do get that unlimited access groups in your community, unlimited emails, landing pages, and funnels as well. Now, growth is where most people are going to be when you have a business where you've been doing it for a few years. You've got a reasonable number of products. You now have 25,000 contacts. I'm pretty sure that's the same as what it was before. But the big change with growth that has gone from $199 a month to $249 a month is that you get 50 products now. Previously, it was 15. So that is 50 products on top of your community with unlimited access groups, and one of your 50 products can be unlimited digital downloads. So the growth plan is really opened up a lot of opportunities. My suggestion, if you are going, oh, it's an extra $50 a month, you now have, potentially 35 additional products that you could make. It gives you a lot of opportunity for experimenting, trying, potentially some new workshop or mini course type products to not only generate extra revenue, but use it as an opportunity to look for areas in your business where you can grow, where previously you might have been held back by that 15 product limit. This is going to give you an opportunity to try some new things, try some potentially like a coaching product. Maybe you want to add a newsletter. It might give you the opportunity to add private podcasts for your courses because you're not going to be restricted by those limits anymore. I love that we now have 50 products. I kind of wish we'd had it before, just quietly, but it makes that growth plan really, really make sense right now. There is that additional fee though, if you are not using Kajabi Payments, but it is 1% on growth. So it's less of an impact. And if you are using Kajabi Payments and you're on the growth plan, you will get a slightly cheaper Kajabi payment rate. I think it's different for every market, but let's say it was 2.9% on the Kickstarter and the basic. It is 2.8% on growth. So that's a really, really good option. You also, on the growth plan, some new things that you now get is that universal inbox, comment to DM, and the cohort courses option. So you get some new features available as well. Being able to bring people into your world via that universal inbox and comment to DM is absolutely brilliant. It's kind of like that ManyChat style functionality, and that is an absolute game changer. Just to be able to do that and to do it easily, not only do you have to use another third-party software, it just makes it so much easier to have everything in one ecosystem. And then Pro was previously 100 products. Now it is unlimited. So unlimited products, you get 3 sites instead of 1. So you could run 3 separate businesses on Pro. with 3 separate communities. Now all Pro members will have a dedicated success manager. So instead of going to the help desk, the regular help desk, you'll have your own customer service manager that you can approach. You also get the branded app included, which is fantastic. For me, I use the branded app and I was on a Pro plan. So that has instantly saved me $100 a month. So I'm pretty happy about that. You also will get on the Pro plan transcriptions, dubbing and translation, API, custom code and webhooks. You had custom code and webhooks before. I believe, I have not yet tested this out, there are some additional benefits to the webhooks that are available under the Pro plan on top of the webhooks that you would have got previously with growth. Custom code is literally changing the actual coding and functionality. Custom code for things like CSS changes, that is available across all of the Kajabi sites. HTML coding, simple coding changes can be on any plan. It's just that custom coding where you're actually going into the liquid code and adjusting the functionality. That's what's available on the Pro plan. Again, you have that additional fee for Stripe. That says 1%. It's actually incorrect. That's 0.5% if you are on the Pro plan for Kajabi's Stripe. So again, that does not impact if you're using Thrivecart or Samcart or any other third-party payment provider and zapping people into Kajabi. It's only if you're using that actual Kajabi Stripe integration that you will have that 0.5% fee. And if you're using Kajabi Payments, there is no additional fee. You actually save some money. You get a 0.2% saving on Kajabi Payments transactions over the Kickstarter and basic plan. That, however, has been something, you know, that may be the deciding factor. So I'll go into the Stripe fees a little bit more in a sec. But yeah, so Pro is going to make a lot of sense for people where maybe it didn't make sense before. Maybe you're like, no, it's too much of a jump. But now you'll have, you know, the branded app, which could be the thing that is the big difference. You might be like, all right, it is worth going from growth to Pro because now I can have my own branded app with my own company name and logo and the additional features and functionality that that branded app gives you over the Kajabi app. You also get the universal inbox, the comment to DM, the cohorts, the video transcriptions and translations. So you get 30 hours of transcription, 4 hours of translation and dubbing is going to be coming to the Pro plan soon. You get the API and, like I said, that branded mobile app. So yeah, you also, if you're on any plan, doesn't matter which plan you're on, you do have the option of just doing those a la carte changes, like I mentioned earlier. So you can add 10 products to any plan for $50 a month. You can also add an extra site, like it says website, but it's actually a whole extra site. So if you have 2 businesses, you know, it may be worth, you know, paying that $50 a month to have that completely separate site, because the separate site also gives you a separate community. So if you have a different, 2 different URLs, 2 different customer bases, then that could be an option. Do just remember on that Pro plan that you get 3 sites. So again, look at how much it's going to cost per month, whether it may be worth upgrading. I'm not sure why you have the option of adding funnels. Funnels are now unlimited. So that's another change that's happened. So that's, you know, not going to be something that is relevant, but the contacts may be something that is helpful if you are near the limits of your contacts. So if you are on the Kickstarter plan, you can add 5,000 contacts for $25. So that's going to allow you not to have to go all the way up to basic. And if you're on basic and don't want to go to growth, adding those contacts may be something that you can do where you just add that and not, you know, going all the way up to a new plan. So this Kajabi Payments versus Stripe, I think this was probably one of the most contentious things, as well as price rises, because everyone always gets a bit angry when prices go up, and totally understandable. Like, I get it. It's frustrating. Even this very software that I'm using to stream this video now, StreamYard, they had a price double last year. And at first I was like, oh, that sucks. I'm going to find a new one. But ultimately, I really like StreamYard and I like using it, and I didn't want to have to learn a new software. So I eventually, whilst I you know, got a bit cranky and cancelled it, I came back because I like using it and I didn't want to spend my time learning new software instead of just paying the extra. So, you know, do consider that as well, is if you do move to a new platform, there's a lot of costs. It's mental load cost in learning a new platform and getting your team potentially to learn a new platform. There is the time cost where you're not working on growing your business and generating income. Definitely do not change platform if you're just about to launch or you'll be launching very soon, because that's just going to add a whole lot of extra stress into things. And then look at how much it's going to cost you to move platform in terms of rebuilding everything. A migration project can be, often a 5-figure project. And if you are migrating everything to, because you're annoyed you're going to be paying $30 or $50 a month more, just look at it in context of your greater business. Where is your time and money best spent? It could be best spent on, generating new leads, potentially, adding in some extra evergreen sales funnel processes, potentially creating a new product. I mean, everyone's going to know what is right for them. But yeah, do just bear in mind, like, I get it. I totally get it. Like I said, I'm using this StreamYard where I cracked the shits and went, no, screw you, StreamYard, I'm leaving. But then, when you like using something and it's familiar, there is a lot of mental load cost in changing. Something else to consider, I have had a couple of people approach me because they've actually decided with these changes and the increase in prices on other systems, and Kajabi doing some of the things that it wasn't previously able to do, like checkout customization, that they're now migrating everything into Kajabi. So whilst Kajabi's price may have risen a little bit, it then allows them to get rid of other tools that are costing them a lot more money. So do bear that in mind as well. And then, like I said, when you have additional features and additional product slots, that's going to hopefully allow you to generate more revenue as well. So let's just look at Stripe though, because like I said, this is one of the things that people are stressing out a little bit about. Whether you are using Stripe via Kajabi or Kajabi Payments, the base processing fees are the same. So you're not paying more to use Kajabi Payments. There are a couple of exceptions to that, however. Invoicing, there is an additional charge through Kajabi Payments. If you use the Kajabi invoicing feature, I think it's 0.4%, something like that. And hopefully they are going to bring bank deposits and other methods to invoicing at some stage. And if you're using Kajabi's tax feature through Kajabi Payments, there is an additional charge per transaction for tax. However, if you're using another system like Quaderno, then you would have an additional charge there as well, a monthly charge. So Kajabi charges per transaction rather than extra monthly. So it's kind of like a pay it as you use it. And tax is optional. You don't have to use tax through Kajabi Payments. It's just there if you choose to. So apart from those optional extras, Kajabi Payments and Kajabi via Stripe is the same. If you have your own payment providers, so if you have your own Stripe and you're embedding your own Stripe checkouts into Kajabi and you're not using the integration that Kajabi does directly with Stripe, you won't be affected by this. If you're using Thrivecart, you won't be affected. Samcart, Link to Pay if you're in Europe, any of those other kind of external processing, you won't be affected by this Kajabi Payments versus Stripe. If you're using PayPal, there's no additional charge. If you are in a market where Kajabi Payments is not yet available, then there will be no additional charge. So it's only if you're using Stripe via Kajabi. Now, for a lot of people, they may have had that in place for a while, which is where it kind of gets a bit tricky, because if you are paying extra now, so if you're on Kickstarter, it's 5% extra, basic 2%, growth 1%, and pro 0.5%. If you're putting a lot of transactions through, that could potentially add up. So some things to consider. Firstly, changing to Kajabi Payments. Kajabi can help you migrate if you have subscription and payment plan offers to Kajabi Payments, so that there is no upset to your business by doing that. So that can be that seamless transaction that they can help you do. So you're not having to ask people to re-sign up through a different platform or anything like that. You can have some of your offers be Kajabi Payments and some Stripe. You may want to keep, for example, existing subscription offers on Stripe and take new payments through Kajabi Payments. Kajabi Payments also allows you things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Klarna, Buy Now, Pay Later as well. So you don't have to make a change across the board. And then in that case, you would only be paying the additional fees on just some of your transactions. And again, that might make more sense. So do bear in mind that it isn't sort of all of a sudden some blanket kind of arbitrary change. And if you're already using an external third party like Thrivecart, Samcart, etc., this won't affect you at all because your payments aren't done within the Kajabi ecosystem. That's a little bit tricky, and the fees are also a little bit tricky because it's different in every country. So I do recommend going to the Kajabi Help Center and looking up the fees. But just bear in mind, whether you're using Kajabi's Stripe or Kajabi Payments, that base processing fee is going to be the same either way. It's just that if Kajabi Payments is available, and I think something like 50% of all transactions through Kajabi are going through Kajabi Payments anyway. It's now pretty well established, and it does give you those other payment options that can help increase conversions. So you've got the option. So that just may be a case of running some numbers and looking at how much that additional fee will affect you. How much would affect you if you just did some payments through Kajabi Stripe versus Kajabi Payments? Whether you want to talk to the team about potentially migrating your existing payment plan and subscription offers into Kajabi Payments, because that's an option as well. But yeah, that's definitely something that has been a bit of a challenge, and hopefully it's helped. This has helped clear up that it may not necessarily have to be something that you do across the board, and you may get some advantages out of moving to Kajabi Payments. Maybe it's been something you've been thinking about and you just haven't done. And when you move to Kajabi Payments, it will sort of recommend you to sort of apply it to everything. You don't have to. You still have choice at the offer level on each individual offer, whether you want it to be a Kajabi Payments offer or whether you want it to be a Stripe or PayPal. And you can still process things in the same way that you may have always done through an external payment provider, and then zap those payments into Kajabi. All right, so what makes sense for you? It depends on your situation, obviously. If you are on an annual plan, it may make the most sense to just renew for now, think about it, and lock that pricing in for another year. If you're on a monthly plan and you want to lock your pricing in for another year and you're like, well, I just want this lower pricing, remembering that, a week ago, you didn't even know about these new things and you were happy with that current plan, that might be something that is worth looking at. Run a promotion to get that money so that you can pay for an annual, and get a whole nother year before then. You could just renew right now and then upgrade before the 13th to a new plan and just pay the difference. If you are on annual now, for example, my annual fee doesn't, I think the next payment's April, then I will only pay for the difference between now and April. So it's not like you are going to have to pay a whole year. So it's a pro rata difference. So if your plan was $3.99 a month and now it's going to $4.99 a month, obviously it'll be a bit cheaper if you are on annual. You'll only pay the difference. So do bear that in mind. It's not like you're going to pay an entire another annual fee at the new prices. Then when you hit your regular renewal date, that is when the new fees and plan prices will come into effect. So annual is a little bit trickier than monthly, but basically the next payment after the 13th of January is when the new prices will come into play if you haven't already chosen to upgrade before then. If you are on monthly, you can just stay where you are right now. You don't need to do anything just yet. You can decide between now and January if you want to move to a new plan. When you make that decision, then your pricing will change. So for the rest of the current month that you're on, you'll pay that little bit of a difference. And then ongoing from then, you will pay the new plan price. And then, if you're using Stripe and you don't want to move to Kajabi Payments, just weigh that extra fees against those extra features. Maybe it'll cost you extra in fees every month, but you won't have to pay for that branded app that you are already paying for or potentially considering paying for. Maybe you can ditch ManyChat, which will save you costs. It's definitely worth sort of running some numbers on your own scenario to see whether it is worth it, whether maybe you'll move some of your payments to Kajabi Payments and some not. Maybe you'll do one-time payments on Kajabi Payments, which will also unlock that Apple Pay, Google Pay, and buy now, pay later. So just don't panic. You got time to decide. But if you do want the new features now, you can upgrade to the new plan now, and that will unlock everything right away. There were some people who were on very old discounted plans. If you originally Kajabi were like, nope, you do not get the discounted plans, and I am very, very happy that they decided to stick by that, because these were lifetime offers, and they said that the lifetime offer was only on your current plan. That has now been changed. If you had an old lifetime offer, that will now apply on the new plans, but you do need to contact billing manually to get them to apply that discount. So yeah, most creators probably going to benefit from moving, especially if you want to move to Growth and Pro, would definitely be worth it. Keep an eye on your contact limits, and maybe look at either a new plan or increasing that a la carte 5,000 extra contacts. And do consider as well, if you're on annual, that's an easy way to save 20%. If you can afford it, to get on that annual plan. And maybe this might be the thing that motivates you to do that when previously it didn't, because you're like, all right, well, the price is going up, but if I move to annual, it'll stay the same, because you get that 20% discount. And of course, I will update if anything changes. And not only that, I mean, this kind of feels like the least fun part of it, working out what plan to go to, etc. I am going to be diving into the new features and showing you some of these things that are available, how to use them, if you need to use them, if you want to use them, and I'm going to be doing that over the next month. So if you've got questions about any of the new features, if you've got anything that you want me to specifically show, I am going to be going through all of those, and I am pretty damn excited, because some of them are fantastic. I've been trying them out and playing with things, and yeah, like a kid in a candy shop with all the new stuff. But sometimes you just need to know, do I even need this new stuff? So, if that's one of the things you want to know before deciding whether you should upgrade or not, definitely look out over the next few weeks, as I will be putting those videos out. Also, Kajabi have got a series of webinars coming up over the next few weeks with their team, where they are also going to be diving into the features. So you can register for those on the Kajabi site as well. I'll put a link into the description. But yeah, I'm here for you. I'm excited. I am still, super Kajabi fangirl. A couple of things I wish they had done differently, I won't lie, but I'm also really excited about the future, what we have available to us. And I can't wait to help you make more money with Kajabi through all these fantastic features. If you've got questions, add them into the comments and I will get to them. And I look forward to Kajabi nerding over the next month. And yeah, going deep, seeing what we can do within the Kajabi platform. It's very exciting times. All right. Sue McLachlan from the Unicorn Advisory. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.